high above the world, beyond the swirling clouds and into the endless blue, lived two ancient spirits, friends since the dawn of time. One was the wind, a force of nature, wild, restless, and immensely proud of his power. The other was the sun, a beacon of warmth calm, patient, and radiating a quiet, gentle light. Though they shared the same sky, they were as different as storm and stillness. One afternoon, the wind swirled with boastful energy. He howled, "Look how the mightiest oaks bow when I pass. I can propel great ships across oceans and carve canyons through stone. Tell me, old friend sun, what true power do you possess?" The sun, ever serene, simply glowed a little brighter. "My power is gentle," she replied softly, her voice like the warmth of a summer morning. "But it endures." The wind let out a roaring laugh that shook the heavens. Gentle, enduring, mere words. Let us put this to the test. Down below, on a winding road that snaked through rolling green hills, a traveler named Elin was making her way. She pulled her thick woolen cloak tightly around her shoulders, for the morning air carried a distinct chill. The wind saw his opportunity. "Watch closely, son," he declared with confidence. "I will make her remove that cloak with my strength alone. She will be no match for my might." With that, the wind inhaled, gathering his power until the very air seemed to hold its breath. Then, he unleashed a furious blast. The sky darkened ominously. Dust and leaves swirled into a chaotic vortex. Trees bent so low, their branches scraped the earth. Ellen gasped, staggering against the sudden onslaught. She clutched her cloak, pressing it desperately against her body as a shield from the biting cold. The wind grew more enraged. "Give up," he roared, his voice a deafening gale. He battered her from every direction, but the stronger he blew, the more determined Ellen became, her knuckles white as she held her cloak fast. Finally, spent and breathless, the wind fell silent. Defeated, the cloak remained firmly in place. Now, it was the sun's turn. She did not rush, she did not roar. She simply began to shine, her golden rays spilling over the landscape like liquid honey. The warmth was soft at first, a gentle caress on the wind-chilled air. The dust settled. The birds, which had taken shelter, returned to the trees, their songs filling the newfound silence. Ellen, who had been hunched against the storm, slowly straightened. She felt the comforting warmth seep into her bones, chasing away the cold. Her tense grip on her cloak loosened. A small smile touched her lips as the pleasant heat wrapped around her like a soft blanket. With a sigh of relief, she unfastened the clasp and let the heavy garment fall from her shoulders, draping it casually over her arm as she continued her journey, basking in the pleasant glow. The wind stared in stunned disbelief. He had used all his might and failed. "But you did nothing," he sputtered. The sun's light seemed to dance. "I did not need to force her," she replied calmly. "I simply made her feel safe enough to let go on her own." Her words hung in the air. A profound lesson that the wind was not yet ready to understand. That night, as stars glittered in the vast, silent sky, the wind wandered aimlessly, a profound disquiet stirring within him. He watched the world below. He saw people rushing to slam their windows shut when he howled past, their faces tight with annoyance. But he also saw them open those same windows wide when the air was warm and still, inviting the kindness of the evening in. For the very first time, a seed of doubt was planted in the wind's boisterous heart. He began to wonder if sheer brute strength was truly the only measure of power. Was there another way? A way he had never considered? This new thought was more unsettling than any storm he had ever created. He felt a strange emptiness, a void where his pride used to be. The quiet wisdom of the sun echoed in the stillness of the night, challenging everything he had ever believed about himself and his place in the world. Just before dawn, while the sky was still a soft, bruised purple, the wind's restless journey took him to the edge of a great sea. There, on the shore, he saw a small boy named Tomas, his shoulders shaking with sobs. The boy's tiny paper boat, a treasure he had clearly poured his heart into, had been swept away by the tide and was now drifting helplessly out of reach. The wind saw a chance to help, to use his power for good. Without a second thought, he rushed forward, intending to push the boat back to shore. But he had not yet learned control. He unleashed a powerful gust. The calm sea instantly erupted into angry, crashing waves. The fragile paper boat was caught in the turmoil, torn to shreds in a heartbeat. The boy's hopeful cries turned to wails of despair as he fell to his knees on the wet sand. The wind froze, a cold horror washing over him. He had only meant to help, but his untamed strength had brought only more sorrow. As the first rays of morning light painted the horizon, the sun began to rise. Her gentle light spread across the water, calming the turbulent waves. The sea grew quiet and glassy. Carried by the no gentle current, a piece of driftwood, smooth and worn by the ocean, floated back to shore, landing just beside the weeping boy. Tomas wiped his tears, his gaze falling upon the new gift from the sea. He picked it up, his small face brightening with a nascent smile. A new boat, a stronger boat. Hope rekindled. Watching this, the wind felt a pang of regret so sharp and heavy it felt like a physical weight. For the first time, he truly understood the destruction his mindless power could cause. He had broken a heart, while the sun, with her quiet grace, had mended it. It was a humbling, painful, and deeply transformative moment. From that day forward, the wind began to change. The transformation was slow, almost imperceptible at first. He learned to temper his strength, to moderate his pace. He stopped roaring and began to whisper through the leaves of the forest. He learned to carry seeds gently, depositing them in faraway fields where they could grow and flourish. He found a new joy in the laughter of children as their kites danced and swooped in his playful breezes. No longer fearing they would be ripped from their hands. He discovered the subtle art of the gentle nudge, the soft caress, the helpful push. The world, in turn, began to respond differently to him. Fear was replaced with welcome, annoyance with appreciation. He was becoming not just a force, but a friend. One evening, as the sky blushed with the colors of sunset, the sun observed her old friend. "You are quieter these days," she noted, her voice filled with a warm, knowing light. The wind rustled softly, a sound that was now more like a contented sigh than a blustering roar. "I am learning," he admitted, his voice humble. "I'm learning that true strength does not need to shout to be heard. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can be is gentle." The sun smiled, a radiant, brilliant smile that set the entire horizon ablaze with gold and crimson. Her friend had finally understood. The sky had at last found its perfect harmony. And so, a new balance was struck between the heavens and the earth. The wind still danced and raced across the world, his spirit as free as ever, but now his dance was one of creation, not destruction. He moved with purpose and with care. The sun continued to warm the earth, her light a constant promise of life and hope. But now she did so with a partner who truly understood the nature of her power. And to this day, it is said that whenever you feel a soft, gentle breeze follow a spell of warm sunlight, it is the two old friends, the wind and the sun, working together, stronger, kinder, and wiser than ever before, reminding us all that the greatest power is not that which forces, but that which persuades with warmth and kindness.